Your beliefs, your patterns of thinking are neither right nor wrong. They are neither good nor bad. They can be only put in two categories. They can either be limiting or they can be empowering. Now, what do you want to achieve? Could be what goals I want to achieve. It could be what I want to overcome from. I'm feeling stuck in a particular situation. I want to make a change in my life, or I want to make a change in other people's life. I want to get good marks, or I want to achieve a promotion, or I want to start my own business. I want to start making differences. What is that? Clarity of the outcome. What are my resources? What do I have? What strengths I have? Where am I lacking? And that clarity of knowing where you are, what you are currently, that is the second pillar. Now, all that you mentioned is taking the action to bridge that gap. That forms the third pillar. The third pillar is not action, the third pillar is flexibility. Flexibility to do whatever it takes to get from where you are to where you want to be. The way to approach it is to find out that what planted that belief in his mind that this is important. What is that higher reason which he is getting?
Online version of Tea Corner Season 2.
नमस्ते व्यूअर्स, टी कॉर्नर पॉडकास्ट का ये एपिसोड काफ़ी एजुकेटिव और इन्फॉर्मेटिव होने वाला है। आई एम श्रीधर मनी, प्रेसिडेंट पास्ट स्टूडेंट्स एसोसिएशन बोरीवली एजुकेशन सोसाइटी। सब व्यूअर्स को इस पॉडकास्ट में इनवाइट करता हूँ। हम सभी अपने लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ डिफरेंट करते रहते हैं और हमारा ये डिफरेंट अटेम्प्ट या तरीका कुछ रिजल्ट हमें देता है, सम गुड सम बैड। इस रिजल्ट को हम रियली एनालाइज करते हैं, क्या ये रिजल्ट का मेंटल इम्पैक्ट हम पे क्या होता है। आज का पॉडकास्ट जिसका शीर्षक है द डिफरेंस दैट क्रिएट्स अ डिफरेंस, वी आर ट्राइंग टू डेल्व डीपर इनटू दिस एस्पेक्ट of creating difference in one's life. And to educate us and for us to learn more about this topic, we have a very distinguished speaker with us, Dr. Mehernosh Randeria. Dr. Randeria, I invite you to be part of this podcast. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Shridhar. Always a pleasure to be part of this forum.
Thank you so
and
much.
I like the way to see the PSA growing that much. Good.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Your continued patronage and support is very much welcome. So before we start, I would like to give a small brief about this magnanimous personality called Dr. Mehernosh Randeria. Academically brilliant person, a professional who's a chartered accountant, a cost accountant, a MBA. He had a very successful corporate stint. And somewhere down the line, he realized that I think he wants to pursue his passion, which is coaching, training, and creating a difference in people's lives. In that process, he became certified as ICF accredited coach, an NLP trainer, a GTD coach, brainwheel coach, and I don't know how many more. And he's the founder of his academy, Success Academy, which is called as W3 Success Academy, which is possibly India's only academy which denotes success by three formulas which are related to wisdom, wealth, and individual well-being. So I guess it will be interesting to know from this multifaceted personality about this topic, difference that creates a difference. So I look upon to have a very meaningful conversation with you, Dr. Randeria.
Same here, Shridhar. Looking forward.
The first question to you, sir. This phrase, the difference that creates a difference. If you have to really think from your lens, how do you really convey this particular part?
So first, let's talk about what is the difference that we are pointing at. Okay, very often there are times when two people are probably chasing the same goal or struggling to overcome the same obstacles. One person does well, the other person is still struggling or not able to cope up or somewhere lagging behind. So what is seen to the outer world as the difference between the performance is that one person succeeded, one person did not succeed. Now the point is that is the visible output. That is the visible difference. Is there something beyond that? what is that difference within the mindset of the two people that is creating the difference in the outcome and the results. So that is what the entire study is, which I am really curious and have been interested in pursuing this as a field of research altogether. And that is what got me into this field called as neuro-linguistic programming. One of the definitions of NLP is this, the difference that makes the difference.
So you mean to say that there are two doctors, there are two sportspersons, each one would have their own success in their lives. Some we feel are not as successful, maybe the way we look at them monetarily, economically, materially. Some might grow spiritually, emotionally. For them, maybe that's important for them. Materialistic needs possibly are not very important. So how does that differ? Because it differs, it would change with person to person in the way they think as well, right?
Very true. So the key thing that you are talking about, let's say some people pursue materialistic goals, some people pursue spiritual goals. Firstly, on what basis are we even identifying these as spiritual goals or materialistic goals? Don't you think when we try to label this that way, we are applying our own judgment over it? Right? Who is right? Who is wrong? Is the person who is pursuing spiritual goals greater than the person who is pursuing the materialistic goal? Who are we to judge? But yes, the visible output, the difference that is seen is that somebody is pursuing something which is coming out differently than the other. Now, two people probably having the same background, the same upbringing, the same environment of growing up, learning, everything, how come they chose two different paths? What is going on in their head? What are the things that each of them respectively chose to give importance to? Which in simple terms are called as, what are your values? What do you truly want to pursue? What do you want to put as a highlight in your life? What gives you that more peace, satisfaction, significance, whatever you call it? So we as individuals are driven by that. What is more important to us? And that somewhere comes from in what way have we made sense of things which are going on around us?
So if you have to really talk about high achievers, okay, in whatever area, how much subconscious mind or conscious mind responsible for such an achievement, so to say? Like I have heard about Sachin Tendulkar talking about how a batsman needs to really work on the subconscious level rather than being a conscious or working on the conscious level when a person is batting. So how much you feel is the subconscious level important in creating a difference in one's lives?
See again, whether it is Sachin Tendulkar or any other cricketer or any other cricketer who has not even got to the national level or whatever, what is that difference that is between Sachin Tendulkar and any other player? We may say that you need to apply focus, you need to put in effort, you need to put in hard work. Now, all these are often at the level of the conscious mind. Okay, there is one important principle that goal setting is done by the conscious mind. All kind of planning, all kinds of detailing and taking actions and aligning your habits. So goal setting, every effort to do goal setting is done by the conscious mind. But the actual goal getting is done by the subconscious mind. A big role is played by the subconscious mind. How we tend to give meaning to things that are around us. Again, earlier I mentioned about how we make sense of things around us. That is the part of the difference that makes the difference. So when Sachin is faced with a situation, with even a difficult bowler in front of him, apart from the speed at which the ball is coming, apart from all the other dynamics which are at the conscious level, what is going on in his mind? Is he looking at this particular bowl? Is he looking at this particular match? Is he looking at his growth? What is happening in that mind in that moment? That is what is the difference that makes the difference. Now I will give you a different example of this. Let's say there are twins. Okay, let's say there are two brothers born in the same family. So growing up together, went to the same school, everything identically same. One brother grows up to become an alcoholic, and the other brother grows up to become a teetotaler. He has never even once touched alcohol. Okay. When they are grown up adults, one person happens to just ask each of them individually. He goes and asks the alcoholic, "Bhai, how come you are alcoholic? How come you are not able to give it up? How come you are an addict?" His answer is, "What to do? My father was an alcoholic." Okay. Now the same person goes and asks the other brother, "How come you never even once thought of even touching alcohol or tasting it? How did you have that resolve?" His answer is, "What to do? My father is an alcoholic."
Means he's sort of resigned to the environment or the he's been bought in, or he's been raised.
So the first one is able to say, "Okay, fine, I have been brought up in that environment, so I have no other choice but to follow the footsteps of my father." The second one has seen probably the consequences of his father and has resolved not to follow that. So then, is it conscious mind? Is it subconscious mind? It is what meaning making you create out of the things that you see around you, and which is all at the level of subconscious. In every situation, our mind cannot be empty, because our mind is always a meaning making machine. And thanks to that meaning making, what meaning we are giving to things around us, how we are interpreting things, what we are giving importance to, what programming has already happened, rather what conditioning has already happened to us throughout our upbringing, and how we have made stories about it, about the way it is impacting us or the way we want to impact other things. That is what all happens at the subconscious level. That is all the meaning making that happens, and that governs our actions. The actions that are seen are at the conscious level, the difference, the outward difference. But what is creating that is the meaning making, the difference behind those actions. So yes, so whether it is a high performer, if you identify high performers, you will find out that there is something very unique. And whatever high performer or successful person, whatever definition you may want to call it, think about it. What are the key pillars of success? What do you notice if you take any successful person, let's say Sachin Tendulkar or Sir Ratan Tata or whoever comes to your mind as a success?
I think the hours they have put in to master whatever they have done, that is number one, I feel. Yes. And practice what you preach is another aspect.
Yeah.
Mainly these two aspects. And discipline and passion, I believe these are four factors. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing that. Again, these are all what is seen, the visible components. They are right. Now, what do you see as if you were to define the three pillars of any successful situation, any successful person, or success here is whatever you want to achieve. Okay? The three important ingredients will be, number one, focus on the outcome, or I would say the clarity of the outcome. The goal that they want to achieve, they clearly knew about it. They clearly were wanting that what I want, I'm very clear, I will achieve that. Okay, and what that means to you, how it is important, what will happen if I achieve it, all those clarity is there. That is the first pillar. The second pillar is being aware about where am I right now. Awareness. Okay, goal is one thing I want to achieve, but where am I right now? What are my resources? What do I have? What strengths I have? Where am I lacking? And that clarity of knowing where you are, what you are currently, that is the second pillar. Now all that you mentioned is taking the action to bridge that gap. That forms the third pillar. The third pillar is not action, the third pillar is flexibility. Flexibility to do whatever it takes to get from where you are to where you want to be. And that flexibility may require even flexibility of changing the ways of thinking. It could even require changing the ways in which you have been programmed to think about things differently. All our conditioning, what matters, and that is part of all these three put together is part of the difference that makes the difference.
Amazing. So, you spoke about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. How does NLP help, what you can say, unravel or uncover hidden patterns within an individual with respect to behavior in terms of performance or relationships? How does NLP help in that area?
So NLP is based on three pillars.
Okay.
Any guesses what are the three pillars of NLP?
I think self-awareness is number one. Maybe.
The same three which I mentioned.
Awareness,
clarity about the outcome,
clarity,
awareness,
flexibility.
and flexibility.
Okay.
And that is why NLP is the study of the difference that makes the difference. So how does NLP help? Firstly, it helps you to understand what do you want to achieve. Now, what do you want to achieve could be what goals I want to achieve. It could be what I want to overcome from. I'm feeling stuck in a particular situation. I want to make a change in my life, or I want to make a change in other people's life. I want to get good marks, or I want to achieve a promotion, or I want to start my own business. I want to start making differences. What is that? Clarity of the outcome. Awareness about deeper than where I am right now. Awareness about what are my beliefs about who I am. You mentioned about beliefs. So, beliefs are what? Beliefs are whatever we consider to be our reality. So, a person who thinks that I can do it is also a belief. And when a person thinks I can't do it, this is going to be very hard for me, that is also a belief. A person who says that universe is very supportive about, whatever I set out to, I will achieve it. People are there to support me. People are nice, kind, gentle, trustworthy. That is also a belief. And when people say that, people can't be trusted, people are just jealous and waiting to pounce on you, that is also a belief.
Like yesterday, since you talked about it, yesterday I met a gentleman. He talked about his nephew who IIT Delhi student who was taken to drugs. He finished his first year and now he's realized that I don't want to continue. He's come back. I don't want to do anything in life but to take drugs. He's not willing to listen to anyone, to get himself counseled or go to any anonymous centers to eradicate that habit of his, and he's just stuck on that. He's just very steadfastly decided, no, I want to just take drugs. I don't want to do anything else. So what would help him to change his perspective?
So, what is the reason, or what is the deeper intention behind him to wanting to take drugs? If we can find that out.
He's very passionate to exercise. He builds muscles, he flexes his muscles, goes to the gym, everything. But this is one habit I will not quit.
So what is important about that habit? If we can find that out, then that becomes the starting point. Now understand this, most likely when we are trying to make changes in other people's life, where do we operate from? We operate from what we know is right, that drugs should not be taken. Okay, drugs will harm you. Fair, this is a very valid point. But think about the person who is kind of very determined, as you said, that he wants to take drugs only. He may not see another point of view. Now, before we try to pull him to what is right, what is logical, what is more sense, what is common sense, what is important, can we look at identifying what is he getting in that moment? So there is one key principle in NLP which says that every behavior has a positive intention. The behavior may be totally negative. This applies to anything. Whatever you may find yourself getting into a loop of a negative behavior, maybe procrastinating, maybe overthinking, maybe sleeping longer, maybe snoozing the alarm, or maybe taking drugs or alcohol, whatever. Your mind would not indulge in a behavior unless subconsciously, psychologically, there is a positive intention that your mind is getting as a result of it. So before we try to pull over and change that person's mindset, no, you are wrong, this is the right way. The way to approach it is to find out that what planted that belief in his mind that this is important. What is that higher reason which he is getting? Now question is, what do you do with finding the higher reason? The mental process here is that when you find out what is the higher reason, you realize that that is what needs to be addressed. And that so-called negative behavior which the person is indulging in is probably just one of the ways which is fulfilling that higher intent.
But what if this person doesn't want to? How do we find out his higher?
That calls for a discussion. That calls for firstly approaching the person not from a space of judgment, that you are doing wrong and I am here to correct you. Number one. Number two, you may be surprised, whatever reason the person may come up with, it may boggle your mind that how can a person even think like that? Okay, because it's not aligned with the way we think or with the way others think who are not aligned with that kind of thinking. So one principle, one of my favorite quotes from my book, Thoughtfully Yours, is that don't be furious when you can be curious. Curiosity is an asset. In all such situations where we tend to, kind of disagree or things go against our expectations and we don't align with what the person is saying, that, we tend to say that you're wrong. It's totally incorrect what you're talking about. Instead of that, how about meeting the person where they are? It doesn't mean that you start doing drugs, but be curious. Be curious that what is going on. What are you finding exciting about it? What is making you feel that this is so important? And uncover deeper by showing some curiosity. And that is what will help you to meet the person where they are. Genuine curiosity. Not something that, okay, for the moment, let me just manipulate and find out and then I will apply I know what I have to apply over here. Not that way. It is a very kind of in the flow, as you just naturally be curious and find out more, and you may be surprised what may get unrevealed. Now point is, what do you do when you find out that? When you find that out and you align that, okay, that is the deeper subconscious reason why the person is probably getting into the negative behavior. Together with that person, figure out what other things can help you to achieve that purpose. Not denying that, okay, what he's doing right now is also helping him according to his mindset, but could there be other things that can help him? And when you address this, the approach is not, I am talking to you because I want you to leave this negative behavior. I am talking to you because let's explore what are other alternatives that can address that positive intention. Our mind somewhere works on the principle of replacement. If I want to give up a negative behavior, I need to satisfy my mind. What am I going to replace that with? And the principle behind that is, whatever you replace that with should be fulfilling that higher positive intention that the mind is getting from that negative behavior. Now, right now, maybe as I'm talking, it may make sense, but you may wonder that, okay, this sounds very good, but how to do it? And that how is what is addressed in NLP. Because there are deep processes where you can do it. There are even advanced processes in NLP where all this can be done actually conversationally, bato mein. So both ways are there, where you take the person through a process, aligning or finding out, and there are ways where you can build rapport with the person and bring the change through a discussion.
How much does language influence behavior? You have people who are, maybe coming from who have not been economically very good, and the environment in which they may be staying, they have been used to a specific way to communicate, to convey or converse, even how all the cuss words appearing in every sentence maybe. So that's a conditioning which has happened in them since, maybe childhood.
Yeah.
So how much does this language, influence behavior, and can this be changed?
So language, firstly, a few things about language since you asked about that. Neuro-linguistic programming, the linguistic part, is about language. It's about understanding the way words shape our world. Now, when we talk about using the right kind of language here, it's not about talking the right kind of sophisticated language or English, right? Often it is said that English is just a language, not a skill. So it could be any language. The key thing to understand is what is the meaning making of that language for the subconscious mind. Now, if a person is talking cuss words, whether they can be sophisticated English cuss words or the Desi cuss words or any language, it doesn't matter. What matters is, the language of English, Hindi, whatever, doesn't matter. What matters is that what kind of mindset is it creating in that person's mind? What kind of world is getting created in that person's mind? But more than those, the rough way of talking, it's not about that. It's more about simple nuances in language that you can identify that can make a difference in your belief and in your behavior. Let me give you an example of this. Sridhar, can you think of something that you've always wanted to do but you have not been able to do it?
Yes.
What is
that? My goal is to do a half Ironman.
Okay. And you can't do it?
I'm not saying I can't do it, but I'm not doing anything to work towards it.
Tell me something that you are really struggling and you can't do.
Yeah, for the moment at least, I'm saying that trading, I'm learning trading, so I'm not able to do it the way I want to do it.
Okay. So I'm not able to do it. Okay, now say this, I can't do trading the way I want to do it.
I can't do trading the way I want to do it. I'm not been successful to do this trading the way I want to do it. I'm not devoting that kind of a time which I'm supposed to devote to do that, the back testing or lesson learning and things like that.
Now tell me, as you were saying this, what did it make you feel?
Yeah, I felt negative. I felt I can't do it at all.
Okay. Now, when we say change the language, it's not about suddenly becoming, changing it and saying, no, I can do it. It's not about that. So first, let me caution that. It's not about mindless positive thinking that, nahin, forget the negative, it's not. Now, I'll just ask you to flip one small thing in this. You said, I can't do trading the way I want to do it. Say the same thing, but now use the word use the word yet after it. Now use the word yet.
I'm not yet doing the trading as I wanted to do it. Okay. Yeah, so it gives me a ray of hope. Yeah. Yes, I can improve.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Say that I'm not able to devote time to trading yet.
I'm not able to devote time to trading yet.
You notice what changes. You are not changing the reality. The fact still remains. What changes in your mind?
Yeah, it's a ray of hope that I can really improve and I can.
Now you may think this is a small thing. Kya fark padne wala hai? What's going to be the difference? The difference that makes the difference here is that very often when we crib or complain even to our own self that I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. We are creating a new kind of tense. See, in school, we have learned 3 tenses. Which are they? Past, present, and future. But very often, we talk about our limitations. We talk in a 4th tense, which is a permanent tense. I can't do this. मतलब अभी तक नहीं हो रहा था, अभी भी नहीं हो रहा है. And what is your mind saying? कभी नहीं होगा. So the way we use language, what tense are we creating? What are we telling our mind? Imagine if you continue saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, every time you sit to work on it, we tend to think, but I can't do this. So mind says, kind of, tathastu. तुमने बोला can't do it, तो कहाँ से करोगे? But if you say a simple thing, like yet, wherever you are facing a struggle, wherever you are thinking it can't be done, part of the difference that can make the difference.
Okay, so the yet is the
One of the things.
one of the language change, which one? The way we.
When we are talking to you, let's say I tell you that this is a wonderful show, but I think this should be put on Instagram as well. Now, what did I say? This is a wonderful show, but I think you should post it on Instagram. What did I say? But. Now, very often, what does but do?
It creates a kind of what you can say, a need, a requirement to fulfill.
Fulfill the thing which is after but. Effectively, it cancels what was said prior to but. So, it's a wonderful show. Ka kya hua? No weightage. Now, same thing if I flip it to, this is a wonderful show and this can also be posted on Instagram. Now, what happens? Both are equally weighed. What is the change we made? From but using and. Simple things. Now, does that mean you should never use but? Now, the awareness matters over here. Awareness, outcome, and flexibility. 3 pillars always remains. So, let's say a person says, I'm finding this hard. Let's say your child says that, I find maths very difficult. And you say, okay, you find maths very difficult, but let's see how we can remove time for it. Now, what is but cancelling? The difficult part. So, flexibility is about knowing with awareness where to use what. Not a one-side thing that never use but or never use this or always use yet. Be aware what the impact of language is. So, 2 things when it comes to language. I'll just add 2 simple principles. Number 1, we think we use language to communicate and share our experience. Now, the deeper application of language is the way we use language, that is the way our experience gets created. So, our experience is created in our mind based on how we use language. And second thing, language doesn't need to be grammatically correct as long as it is dramatically correct. The impact you want to create, when you are aware about all these things, you know how to use impactful language. And a lot of models in NLP is about using language. Whether it is about using language to find out more, uncover more, understanding more about yourself, about other people, whether it is using language in sales and marketing to persuade your clients, your children, your people who matter to you, influencing, the language of influence is one of the important models in NLP. A lot of role is played by language.
Amazing. We always thought that it is just those words and the grammar which is important, but I think it's much beyond.
Yeah. And the examples I gave you are just minor teasers. There is deeper aspect. When people are talking, what they are trying to communicate is one thing, but through language, what their subconscious is processing, even that gets communicated.
So, if I have to ask you, what is the difference between NLP and living NLP?
So, I have been told or I have been complimented that I live NLP, I breathe NLP, I talk NLP about NLP. So the key difference between knowing NLP and living NLP is, I would say, the difference between entertainment and implementation of something that you know. Right? So knowing NLP is just like, okay, I understand कि ये सब है. Knowing NLP is like a pravachan. This is how it should be there. Knowing NLP is probably what you are now knowing while watching this show. Living NLP is making it part of your integral day-to-day thinking. Taking it deep-rooted to the level of your subconscious mind, where everything you do, you operate by the three principles: outcome, awareness, flexibility, and also realize that how you can be in rapport with people who matter to you depending on your outcome, meet them where they are, and then take them to where you want them to be. So living NLP is about practicing. Now when we talk about practicing or applying NLP, it's not about giving an overwhelming meaning to the word practice. It's again about being consciously aware in the moment what you are doing, what are your patterns of thinking. Becoming aware how those patterns of thinking have emerged so far. And then realizing what changes I need to do. Is it helping me? Is it not helping me? Like earlier I told you about beliefs. I said everything you think, your reality is a belief. Your beliefs, your patterns of thinking are neither right nor wrong. They are neither good nor bad. They can be only put in two categories. They can either be limiting or they can be empowering. And in every moment when you become aware that what am I thinking, is it limiting me or is it empowering me? That awareness combined with the outcome, combined with the flexibility, are you okay to change? Are you willing to change? Every moment when you apply this, that is when you start living NLP. NLP, I would say, okay, it appears to be more like a set of tools and techniques. But living NLP reminds you that it's a mindset. It's a way of living. You will find when you learn NLP, you will find that there are some things which may not be that new to you. You may already be doing them. NLP will help you to understand the structure behind that. Oh, this is why it is working. At the same time, you will find that some things are there which are not working that well. You are struggling too much. Now you realize how you can you make that work. And in your own life, situations where you have done something fantastically well, and other times when you are struggling, when you identify that gap, that is when you identify the difference that makes the difference, you can make it work for you in all situations.
With respect to this particular topic, if I have to say that I have someone's got anger since childhood, very angry young man or woman or whatever. So how can they change? Again, to these three principles, that they're becoming aware that they are angry, what situations they create. Because anger is something which is very, it just comes at the spur of the moment. It's a trigger. So there could be anything. It could be, I look at your face and I feel angry.
Yeah.
So can that pattern be changed?
Of course, it can be changed. One of the integral aspects of NLP is also about emotional management, emotional regulation. The NLP term for emotion is, by the way, called state management. But let's call it emotions, or how you show up in that moment, what emotions flare up, whether it is anger, whether it is nervousness, whether it is irritation, whether it is phobia, fear. All these are your states. Now, again, which is the right state, which is the wrong state? Should you never be angry? Should you say that, no, anger is a negative emotion, never be angry?
I would not say that, yeah.
Can you think of a very well-known situation where anger has helped somebody?
Yeah, anger helps in situations where you are in a public protest and which is supposed to be for a good cause. Their anger is just.
It's about how you channelize it, right? What was the emotion that Gandhiji had when he was thrown out of the train in South Africa? Anger. And that anger got channelized when he said that you have thrown me out of your train, I'll throw you out of my country. Right? So neither good nor bad. Again, all states can either be resourceful or unresourceful. Resourceful are those which help us, unresourceful are those which don't help us. So when you talk about anger issues or short temper, it's not that you'd never want them. Again, identify the positive intention behind them. What is that actually wanting to bring out from you? It could be a person you are expecting them to behave in a certain way and they are not doing it. And that is triggering you. What are the triggers? Now, if that is your outcome, the common sense question is that is anger going to help you over there? No. Then, having identified that positive intention of the anger, but anger is not going to help you, what emotion will help you instead? Maybe calmness, maybe curiosity. So there are techniques in NLP which help you to identify the triggers that bring you into an unresourceful state. And in that trigger, how to anchor yourself for a resourceful state. There is a technique called as anchoring, and there you can actually find out, or rather go back into your own life, into your own memory. When was the time when you were completely calm and curious? Right? Even the person who becomes angry at the spur of the moment would obviously have such moments of calm and curious. Because one of the principles in NLP, we all have all our resources within us. We don't need booster shots from outside to bring it. So when you go back to that moment where you had experienced it, you can actually create anchors which can allow you to bring back those moments whenever you need them. Especially in those situations where you get wrongly triggered at times and you take something impulsive because of your emotional
disturbance, whatever.
So of course, to answer your question, yes, emotional regulation is a very important element of NLP as well.
So if I have to ask you the concept of difference that creates a difference, how do you bring this idea into your coaching programs?
So very often in my coaching programs, the coachee would approach with a particular objective, and this is what I am trying to work on. It could either be improve productivity, overcome procrastination, or handle my emotional issues. Okay, or it could be wanting to improve my executive presence in the organization, or get work done from my team who is not performing. Whatever is the challenge, one thing to realize is that the so-called surface problem is exactly what I said, a surface problem, a symptom. What is deeper than that? What is it that makes them think that I can do this or I cannot do this or I'm struggling with this? So understanding that. Like for example, I was coaching an executive director of a company, and technically robust, team management also good enough. Challenge was executive presence, how to come across in that fashion, have that factor that really matters, or show up and speak on stage. Public speaking issues. Okay, fear. Now, of course, there are techniques of anchoring and all that can apply over there. But deeper rooted, what came out was that as a child, when he went on stage, way back in school, he fumbled. He goofed up, couldn't speak. All his schoolmates, batchmates, they made fun of him. And that was the time he made a resolve that I am not cut out for public speaking. This is not my cup of tea. As a result of that, whatever life decisions he took were based on that incident. Public के सामने बोलेगा तो मार खाएगा. Right? People are going to laugh. Now, through deep processes in NLP, which are about changing the meaning making about the facts that happen. We don't change the facts that happen, right? But the life lesson that he actually walked away with in that young age, saying that fear of public speaking, or if I say these consequences will happen, how could that be changed? Once we worked on that, he actually went on stage, got a standing ovation, and made a difference.
At his level, I think there'll be a lot of town halls he'll be addressing, and those are all public speaking, actually speaking.
Yes.
So it's really surprising that a person at his level is having this problem, and you helped him overcome that particular part. Okay.
So a lot of things when we talk about the way we are brought up, our conditioning, the way we have experienced events around us, and we have made the perception of those things, they have programmed our mind already. So often I say that NLP is called neuro-linguistic programming, but programming to already ho chuka hai. If I was given an opportunity to rename this title, the topic, the name of the field, I would call it as neuro-linguistic reprogramming, because that reminds you that you have the power. You are empowered to reprogram no matter what has been programmed, for whatever reason, for whatever positive intention. Again, this one, there is a positive intention. That time he didn't want those consequences, but the mind made a meaning making that always this will happen.
So will it apply to even a child? What age one can get into NLP?
So I would have trained more than 2,000 people by now on NLP. One of the most common feedback I get from all people who have been trained, irrespective of their age, is wish I had learnt it in my childhood.
How young in the childhood?
As soon as the person is able to understand, process things, manage their states. And by the way, okay, the youngest student I had in a master practitioner program, which is the second level, first level is practitioner, second level master practitioner, was a 9th standard student. One thing, if you look at all the principles in NLP, think about it. If I talk about curiosity, if I talk about gelling with people or being interested in finding out more, if I talk about being persistently focused on what you want to achieve, if I talk about another principle of NLP which says that there is no failure, there is only feedback. Think about it. Where do you see all these kind of principles automatically ingrained? No, that is, yeah, but at what age? They are automatically there as a child. As a child, we are naturally curious. As a child, when someone says you can't do this, we find out other ways of doing it. As a child, we are already aware, we are already flexible, we are already outcome focused. But somewhere the programming that happens while growing up makes us form our own meaning making, our own generalizations, our own belief patterns that this is how it is. So in fact, NLP teaches you to be childlike. So then, how young would you want to enroll? Sooner the better. I mean, basically 5th standard, 5th grade students, ideal lot to start already grooming or start already building that awareness before you get programmed in unuseful ways.
I think we've covered quite a lot, and we have a paucity of time. I wish I would have asked you so many other curious questions I had, but anyway, we have to make it end here, and I really thank you for your time, and it will be interesting to know from you more in-depth aspects of the difference that one can create in one's lives through a bigger format tea corner, which we'll be having in very soon. So I feel the audience would get a gist of what we are talking about, and will find a lot of value in today's podcast. Dr. Mehernosh, really we thank you with our memento. You can see it's a tea cup, which is symbolic to our purpose, what we are doing. And we would like to extend this as a memento to you. Thank you for your time, and really pleasure having you here.
Thank you. My pleasure. And keep the tea brewing and inspiring a lot of people. Thank you.
so much. Thank you so much. Come one, come all. Caring and sharing is a secret of life. Care for others by sharing this Tea Corner podcast.
Tea Corner!